What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I would like to welcome you all to another edition of Wayne's Perspective, where we operate in discipline, decency, integrity, and respect. And I'm coming through with another video just for you, or in this case, I should say, I'm coming through with another top 10 MC session just for you. And yes, today's top 10 MC session is going to be dedicated to my number 7 favorite MC of all time. That would be Mr. Big Daddy Kane, aka King Asiatic, nobody's equal. Okay, so yes, this man right here, man, definitely one of the smoothest guys to ever pick up the mic, that's for sure. Smooth on the mic, confident. This man was a god MC just like Rakim. You definitely had a way with words, definitely had a way with the ladies as far as I'm concerned, because just like LL Cool J, not a few short years before him, he had female friends. Female friends. Well, I'm sure he has female friends, but he had female fans and he had male fans. Probably a balance, but I would say I don't think that there's either one more than the other. I think there's an equal bit of male and female fans regarding Big Daddy Kane. That man knew how to get the job done. Pun intended. We're definitely going to take a look at that song as well. But this brother, clean cut, suave, what more adjectives can you think of to describe Big Daddy Kane? And that name, I love that name, Big Daddy Kane. Real clever, and it sold itself. That name sold him just as much as the music did, I think, because it's a real clever, catchy name, one that you can easily remember. And even if you don't call him by his full name, you can call him Kane. Hell, you could even call him BDK. Definitely going to get into it, but first, I got to talk about when I first heard him and all that stuff. So now, this one is a little tricky because I think I first heard Big Daddy Kane in one of two ways. Either I first heard him when I saw the original Lean On Me video, which came out in '88. It was either that or the Taste of Chocolate album, which we're going to get to. That's album number 3. And I even have a small story behind that one too. So it was either one of them. So from there, I've been a fan ever since, and it was sort of a no-brainer that he was going to end up in my top 10 anyway. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this in a previous video, but it took a while to create my top 10. I just know that, it didn't take long for Nas and Jay-Z to get in there. And quite frankly, it didn't take long for Rakim and Biggie to get in there. But the remaining list, it took me a while to come up with, of all the talents, from the past, it took me a while to complete it, and it's set in stone. I don't see it changing anytime soon. Now, it did change a couple of times, but I'm going to get to that when I redo the Cool G rap video. So with all that being said, y'all, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and get my screen there. All right. So here we go, y'all. All right. So from there, we're going to head right into his discography. So this is going to talk about all of his studio albums. And right here, we go to his debut, Long Live the Kane, which came out July 21st, 1988. Now, I do have all of these albums on CD with the exception of one. On all of Big Daddy Kane's albums on CD except for Veterans Day. So we're going to dive right into this one. Look at this. Look at this cover right here, y'all. This is Big Daddy Kane in his glory, being served fruit. You got a chick with a fan. You got somebody else offering him a drink. And he's just sitting there, like I said, swag before swag even was a thing. Just confident, like, look at me. I'm the, love this cover right here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this debut. All songs were produced by the legendary Marley Marl, also behind some of the classics, well, the majority of the classics from the Juice Crew, in which Kane was a part of it. We got Long Live the Kane. So what I say here is that completely bypassing the immediate thought that a song like this should close the album, Kane comes right out the gate, not only with a dope opening statement, but he was already saying in so many words, his legacy was already set. Marley Marl also did a great job incorporating Meteors and James Brown samples for one of his dopest beats, 5 out of 5. And we're going to hear about a lot of sampling in the earlier album. Next up, we get another 5 out of 5 classic. This is the Raw remix. This is 5 minutes and 48 seconds of pure rawness, as the title suggests. And even with this classic approaching 6 minutes, it never gets old or tiresome. Classic right here. Here I am, R-A-W, the terrorist, here to bring trouble to phony MCs. I move on and seas I just conquer, stumble at the rap with ease. No question. Genuine like Gucci, raw like sushi. I mean, who can freak some lines like that at this point in ADL outside of maybe Rakim? Who could do that? I mean, like I said, ill with the lines, man. Ill with the lines, and just the clear-cut confidence and swag before swag was a thing. It's just so on display here. You can't miss it if you try, man. All right, next up, we got Set It Off. Now, I recently checked out a I Have Questions piece with him and Ghostface Killer, another dude that's in my top 10 favorite MCs of all time. And Kane said that even though his most requested songs or his most known songs are Ain't No Half Stepping and Smooth Operator, to him, his best work, or should I say the work that best represents him, he picked Set It Off. Now, you can't go wrong with it. Now, would I personally pick that? No, but you can't go wrong with that song, because even I'm sure when he does that song today, he gets real into it. I mean, you can tell the energy just comes out of him when he does it. Even though he's in his 50s now, he's an OG. Most of my top 10, are OGs now, and I got no problem with that. Getting back to this classic, said I keep the crowd loud when you hype, do damage on stage, injure the mic, no question. So that line is one of many quotables, so many that I'd essentially have to post all the lyrics because that's how great it is. Kane lyrically holds nothing back on this one. Another track with Marley Marl nicely sampled an old school song and flipped it into a breakbeat form, courtesy of Grady Tate's Be Black Baby. Classic, 5 out of 5. All right, next up, we get On the Bug Tip. Scoop Lover came through on this one. And shout out to Scoop Lover. I wonder where him and Scrap at. If you ever get a chance to read this or hear about it, shout out to y'all. Y'all was a big part of Kane's act in the late 80s going into the early 90s. So shout out to y'all, man. So utilizing the Grand Wizard Theodore instrumental Down by Law, along with the cutting and scratching provided by DJ Mr. C. And rest in peace to DJ Mr. C. He passed away, I want to say about a month or two ago. That man meant a lot for a lot of people's careers, especially Kane. He was there when Kane was just breaking in, and Biz Markie, also, rest in peace to Biz Markie. We're going to talk about him too, but those two played a real essential part of Kane's career, especially in the early days. And in that same video that Kane did with Ghostface Killer, he pretty much said that had it not been for Biz Markie, he probably wouldn't even be here, So again, rest in peace to Biz Markie going off, and rest in peace to DJ Mr. C on the mix. Rest in peace to them brothers. Okay, so continuing on here, I said that Kane and Scoop Lover bring a fun freestyle vibe to this one, including a memorable spot by the end, which he would later use on this album. That one is a 5 out of 5. And speaking of 5 out of 5, that brings us to this classic. Ain't No Half Stepping. Do I even have to go into how great this song is after all these years? This is one of Kane's best and most memorable songs, as well as one of Marley Marl's best tracks, thanks to another creatively utilized sample in the Emotions Blind Alley classic material. Rappers stepping to me. They want to get some, but I'm the Kane. So, you know the outcome. I mean, the BIGDLWDYK dramatic, Asiatic, not like many. I'm different. So don't compare me to another, because they can't hang. Word to the mother. And let's not get it twisted. I know these words even without looking at them on this screen right here. Classic, Man, love this song. Love this song, love this song. Speaking of loving songs, that takes us to I'll Take You There. I love this one as well. The Staple Singers classic, I'll Take You There, again sampled nicely by Marley Marl, is the backdrop for Kane's song of positive uplifting, and he will do more of this heading into his second album. 5 out of 5 for that one. And speaking of Biz Markie, that brings us to this one. Just rhyming with Biz, Biz Markie was all over this joint. That's right. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Kane, my mellow, get on the mic because you eat jello. And then here come Kane. It's like that, y'all. It's like that, y'all. Keep on. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Classic. So I note here that although Biz Marquis' intro is good, the real star of this show obviously is Kane. And in addition to what he already delivered previously on the Bug Tip, he drops more dope lyrics in a freestyle form. It's quite memorable and it contains some of his most sampled vocals. Yeah, if rap was a game, I'd be MVP, most valuable poet on the MIC. And if rap was a school, I'd be the principal. Oh, fuck it. The Kane is invincible. Y'all know what I'm talking about. How could I be weak? I'm rather unique. Shout out to AZ and Pete Rock. Yeah, man, look, y'all know what I'm talking about. Just classic stuff here. Keeping it step. Now, do I come off? Yep. And the song ends right there. Just great, great stuff. And that beat, I love that beat too. Thank you, Marley Marl. Marley Marl, definitely one of the more, well, I think he's gotten his flowers over the years, but I think he's still probably one of the more underrated producers from this era. But then again, he was probably one of the more sought after producers in this era too, because he was doing a lot of work at this point. Man. And we just getting started, y'all. Okay, so Mr. C's Master Plan. I love this one right here. Even when I got the news that Mr. C had passed away, I went right to the song and I played it a couple of times. And I know here, although Kane spits a verse at the beginning, this is the showcase of Mr. C's skills on the turntables, very good all around, along with some very creative sampling. Get ready. Clap to this. Oh, 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 oh. Y'all know what it is. I mean, go throw this on right now. Y'all gonna be singing along. But yeah, I love this song. Who's the man with the master plan? DJ Mr. C on the mix. I mean, what more can you say about it? I mean, great stuff, man. Great stuff. And this won't be the last that we hear about Mr. C in this series too, or this session, I should say. And then we close the album on a great note with Word to the Motherland. It's all about justice, peace, and equality. 5 out of 5. So basically, everything on here is a highlight. Now, the only thing that I didn't include is The Day You're Mine. So just a brief thing about that. That song is not bad, but it's one mainly for the ladies. And you can thank LL Cool J for that, because in a world without I Need Love, Big Daddy Kane would have been the one that started the hip hop battle. But LL Cool J predated him a few years. We talking about going back to 85. But my thoughts on this one, I know as far as I'm concerned, this is Kane's best album right here. There's no question that it still holds up today, possibly featuring his best work, especially on a lyrical level. That will be challenged when we get to 1989 and the Is a Big Daddy Thing album, which is next. The production was outstanding. Kane's style and words was second to none, and the result was one of the best albums, debut and or otherwise, of 1988, and it was a success, becoming certified gold in 1989. And of course, this one gets 5 stars. No other way to put it. All right. So then we head into album number 2. Speaking of 1989, this one right here, it's a Big Daddy thing. We go right into the highlights here. The title track produced by Prince Paul, who is making noise at this point, which that's a Sonic. So I know here, much like his debut, Kane starts this with a dope, aptly titled opener. It's only fitting that it would be the title track. This one is a bit faster paced than Long Live the Kane, but just as dope, if not better, especially on the lyrical end. So again, 5 out of 5 for this one. All right. Then we got another victory produced by Easy Mo B, the underrated Easy Mo B, the one of very few producers who can say that they work with both Tupac and Biggie. Easy Mo B was putting in work in the 80s, y'all, and went into the 90s and still has such a dope track record of some of the most memorable beats with some of the most memorable artists that we'll ever hear, man. So again, man, major shout out to Easy Mo B, such an underrated producer. Man, am I gonna have to do a video on him too on my channel? I think I might do that, but we'll see. I note here the underrated Easy Mo B was behind the boys in 89, providing Kane with this hype piece of work while telling the competition that if you step to him, it's just another victory under his belt. He was also telling them don't even bother to step up, and there's nothing wrong with being competitive. And in a truly nice touch, I like how he gave shout outs to fellow artists at the time. Rappers of today like Kid and Play, even my man LL Cool J, Sonic and EPMD, Public Enemy, and BDP. So, and like I know here, one of many things Kane did well was promote unity. 5 out of 5 for this song. And I'm pretty sure he would be doing it tonight if he was still, active like that. Great song. I love it. Speaking of another great song, we go to Mortal Kombat. Okay, said just slow down. You don't want to throw down. I get busy. Get you dizzy like a merry-go-round. Those were just two of many quotable lines in this Kane-produced banger. Mortal Kombat was the right title for this track, mainly because of the aggressive way he was kicking the rhymes. And I did put kicking in quotation marks. Make you say, "Daddy, I don't want nothing." He said, look, Kane said, parental discretion is advised. Kane said, any rapper try to diss, I crush the motherfucker. Y'all, oh my God, man. Y'all know what he talking about. And speaking of classics, we continue on. Young, Gifted, and Black, produced by Marley Marl. Rappers out, replays, rough out, and erase. Competition, you must be on Freebase. Don't step to him, y'all. I said over one of Marley Marl's finest beats ever. Kane comes with one of his most lyrically sharp performances ever. It was short, sweet, and straight to the point. No nonsense, no hook. The title of this classic says it all, and of course, it still holds up today. 5 out of 5 for this one, no question. All right, y'all. Now, Smooth Operator. Okay. Well, let me read my thoughts on this one first. Give it to y'all just like that. Genuine for 89, produced by Kane himself. Absolutely. This remains one of the smoothest songs I ever heard, and only Kane could have made a song like this work, successfully blending extreme confidence and swag before there was such a thing. Y'all heard me. Legend has it that this classic was part of some friendly competition between Kane and fellow MC Rakim. You ever notice the "I'm So Smooth" hook, which was apparently from Rakim's Put Your Hands Together, which came from the Father Leader album too. Now, to get more information on that, even though it's brief, check out my Rakim session, y'all. Either way, another one of Kane's finest moments, 5 out of 5. Now, this classic is one of my favorite Kane songs, but what I really like about this song, in addition to the confidence and the swag, you notice that he flipped some ill samples in here. First off, the beat was like a slight reworking of the Mary Jane Girls All Night Long. And he also had a sample in the hook too. He had 2 samples from Isaac Hayes. I cannot think of the Isaac Hayes sample off the top of my head, but if y'all know the Shaft movie, and I'm talking about the first Shaft movie from 1971, not the first one with Samuel Jackson from 2000, but if you remember a song when Shaft's character, Richard Roundtree, rest in peace to Richard Roundtree, when he came in a bar and there were 2 guys sitting at the he came into the restaurant and there were 2 guys sitting at the bar, and that song plays from Isaac Hayes. Like I said, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but I know it when I hear it. So there was a sample there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's that sample. That sample right there. That was in the part of the beat, and then he also mixed in a sample courtesy of Marvin Gaye. Rest in peace to Marvin Gaye. Man, all these names no longer with us, man. But he sampled Sexual Healing, and there was a part when Marvin Gaye was like, operate. That part, Kane took that and incorporated that. So it's just smoothness all around, dude. And Marvin Gaye, just such a smooth song. I don't think anybody can flip that today. I mean, it just would not work. And please, for the life of me, even if you respect Kane and you respect what he stood for and what he contributed to hip hop, please do not let any new school artist try to remake Ain't No Half Stepping or Smooth Operator. Just please do not do it. Just don't. Classic, classic, classic. And the video, just like Ain't No Half Stepping, the videos were dope too. All right, so then we go to the next highlight, Calling Mr. Welfare, also produced by Easy Moby, and DJ Red Alert came through with some vocals. He was hilarious on this song too. And Kane notes, there's no type of path to follow. It's all about $1. Fuck being a scholar. And that's what some cats would have told you back in the late 80s. Okay, so Said that one line right there describes this hilarious but informative song. Simply put, pushers, dope dealers, pimps, and the rest could be enjoying the lavish life one moment, but when reality sets in, you have no choice but to suck up your pride and call for assistance. It's titled Mr. Welfare. I also can't forget how funny Red Alert was throughout this song. 5.5 out of 5. Do it like this. I know Red Alert. You shout out to Red Alert, still doing this thing out there. Next up, oh man, this one right here, Wrath of Kane Live. This was produced by Kane. Now I know here, this was an incredible live performance. Kane was on fire here with such grace, breath control, and energy. This one performance featured things you really don't see at live shows anymore. True crowd participation. The women in attendance showed their love and attention here at 5 out of 5. And when I said the women in attendance showed their love and attention, look, as soon as the announcer said he has arrived at the Apollo, Big Daddy Kane, the ladies just start screaming. And when he was coming out, they were screaming. If there was any fellas in that audience, you couldn't tell because I mean that's all you heard. Now name somebody who can do that today. That's a hip hop artist. Who could do that today? Not too many. But again, such an incredible performance. All right. And again, another classic. I Get the Job Done, produced by Teddy Riley, a champ like Tyson, a captain like Kirk. No, employee of the month because, yo, I do work. Say no more. This classic was hard enough for the fellows. Yeah, I love this song, but strictly made for the ladies. Mr. Riley provided Kane with the right musical atmosphere to get the job done, complete with the New Jack Swing era on the horizon. 5 out of 5. And the New Jack Swing era was like maybe like a couple of years. I want to say like what from 89 to 93 or something like that. Maybe a little bit earlier, 92. But shout out to Teddy Riley for this one. All right. So then we got Ain't No Stopping Us Now, also produced by Prince Paul. Quite the feel good song right here. And on display was the full uplifting of the Black community. We had come a long way as the 70s turned into the 80s, and there was no turning back at that point. Plus, McFadden and Whitehead, oh my God, rest in peace to them brothers too. There Ain't No Stopping Us Now was already a classic by 89, and I feel Kane was also paying homage to them by use of this sample. Great stuff here, 5 out of 5, definitely. I love Kane's version, and I love McFadden and Whitehead's version too. All right, so then The House That C Built, this was another showcase of Mr. C behind the boards and on the turntables, 4 out of 5 for that one. Then we got Warming Up Kane, produced by Kane himself. Competition made find it spectacular. Scheme and fiend to take a bite like Dracula. Man, them lines. Another banger that followed the same pattern as the title track, Mortal Kombat, and Another Victory, just to name a few, and it's just as dope. Kane said he's deadly as Scarface but bright as the Cosby Show. Nice lines, 5 out of 5. And longtime fans would know that at this point in 89, the Cosby Show was still on the air. I can't recall which season they were in, but they were still on the air at this point. And we close things out with the Rap Summary Lean On Me remix. Now, I've always preferred the original version, but this remix is just as good, but not better though. Whether it's the original or remix, it always makes me think about and want to watch the classic movie Lean On Me, and Kane's cold chilling contribution was the perfect lead song for it. 4.5 out of 5. Yes, indeed, man. So, man, such a great album. So I noted that these trips, sessions down memory lane are always great. And as Kane said, my oh my, things ain't what they used to be. And he was dead on with that. This certified gold album, his most successful album to date, still holds up today. And I tell you one thing, it gives long live to Kane and run for his money. Kane was one of the hottest MCs in all of hip hop at the time, enjoying lots of deserved success as the 1990s drew closer. Speaking of which, we will see the changing of the guard as the 90s emerge, and this would effectively impact Kane for the rest of his career. At this point, King Asiatic Nobody's Equal was on top of the world with an album that will stand the test of time, just like his debut. In a world without the DOCs, no one can do it better. Would this album be considered the best album of 1989? Y'all let me know in the comments, y'all. Next up, we head to 1990 with album number 3, Taste the Chocolate, released on October 30th, and all songs were produced by Big Daddy Kane except where noted. Now, got a few things I want to go into with this one. Now, remember when I said at the beginning that it was either the original version of Lean on Me or this album when I first heard Kane? This is the first Big Daddy Kane album that I heard, and much props to my daddy for that one because he had this on tape, and this was one tape of several that he gave to me back in the day when he was no longer listening to tapes. And again, much credit to my dad because it was him that turned me on to hip hop. So without him, I probably wouldn't even be having this discussion with y'all. But like I said, this was the first Kane album that I heard in full. So yes, I did hear this before Long Live the Kane, and it's a Big Daddy thing. So there is some strong nostalgia here because anytime I listen to this, it puts me right back into where I was in the early 90s when my dad first gave me this tape. Even though you see that big parental advisory sticker right there, I ain't had no business with it. Just a couple other points here. So he returned with album number 3, Taste of Chocolate. Now, even at this point, going into the 90s, you know, hip hop was changing, but Kane was changing too. You know, now it was clear to most people at the time that Kane, he was desiring for mainstream commercial acceptance. And it started with this album right here. It didn't start with albums number 1 or 2. This is where we pinpoint this. And it carries over into album number 4 as well, which will be covered too. All right, so now we're going to finally get into this album, starting with the highlights, okay? Because I can do it right. Y'all know what it is. Said very kinky when it comes to Hanky Panky, a well-known player, but not for the Yankee. This joint here was hyping up for the dance floor, but strictly for the ladies, in my view. I also liked how he threw back to the classic I Get the Job Done by saying his take him from 8 to 80 line was only him kidding. You didn't think he was serious, did you? I didn't. Good song, 4 out of 5. Next up, we get the Prince Paul produced. It's Hard Being the Kane. I said, oh man, did I ever rewind this Prince Paul produced banger repeatedly back in the day? Lyrically, Kane is flaming hot throughout all 3 verses, never letting up for 1 second. An underrated, aptly titled classic right here. It's Hard Being the Kane. All right. So then we go to another 5 out of 5 highlight, Who Am I, featuring Camila Shabazz. One word to describe this song is deep. As a new member of the Nation of Islam at this point, see what I mean by changes. Kane has a verbal look at himself in the mirror, rapping from the perspective of a black soul coming from Africa to the U.S., to the turmoil in the 60s, all the way up to his rise to fame in the 80s. And paying close attention to the second verse is very interesting to not only hear him admit that he had to make that change and rearrange his whole rap format, no hardcore rap, but in terms of switching things up for more mainstream success, see, he sort of predicts this direction before it happens. You have to listen to it closely to get what he's saying. And Miss Shabazz, or Shabazz, the daughter of the late, great Malcolm X, rest in peace to Malcolm X, ends the song on a good note, 5 out of 5, like I said. Man, look, I'm hyped for this session, but it's also sad, for the lack of a better word, because it's like a good number of the people that I'm talking about in reference to Kane's career throughout these albums are no longer with us. It's crazy. And sadly, it doesn't end. We still got more. So let's keep on. Next up, Dance with the Devil, produced by Cool V. Kane dropped some serious knowledge on this one over a highly dope Cool V produced track. For a long time, I always thought this was a Marley Marl track, even while acknowledging Cool V credit in the album's insert. He touches on everything from slavery, our communities, guns, war, the actions of our government, etc. Speaking of the government, you almost get the feeling that Kane was comparing the government to the devil. But in my view, the devil in this song refers to all of the evils in the world. Then and essentially now, 5 out of 5. Definitely. No Damn Good. I love this song. Produced by Prince Paul. I still trip out on this song today. It's hilarious and dope at the same time. Kane calls out Monique and Corey. And while their stories are similar in nature, the point Kane makes is simple: be true to yourself and others. Otherwise, you know damn good. And that's 4 out of 5. Next up, we got Put Your Weight on It. Over 3 classic break beats, courtesy of the Honey Drippers, Impeach the President, Billy Squires, The Big Beat, and Sarone's Rockin' in the Pocket. Kane drops an ill freestyle with Mr. C behind the boards, probably the first of its kind on record. 4 out of 5. We get to the first part of this session, talking about low points. on a Big Daddy Kane album. So what are they? Let's jump into it. All of Me. The momentum this album had came to a screeching halt here, unfortunately. Then and now, I get what Kane was going for here, complete with the Barry White guest spot, but this was about 2 minutes too long and ultimately served no purpose on this album, even though it was 100% for the ladies. And rest in peace, Barry White. Man. Big Daddy versus Dolomite. Kane and Dolomite, the late Rudy Ray Moore, do it old school style by playing the dozens. While Kane does get in some very good lines and hold his own, overall, he was no match for Dolomite line for line. I never had a problem with this, but it easily could have been left on the cutting room floor. Since it's not an actual song, it receives no rating. My overall thoughts, I can certainly say time has been kind to this album, and it truly took me way back to some moments in time. Of course, it's nowhere near the level of Long Live the Kane and It's a Big Daddy Thing. It also didn't hit gold like those albums did, but Kane still did a very good job, even as you could see his career slowly but surely beginning to take a turn. And that will be clear on the next album, Prince of Darkness. Taste of Chocolate has received a bad rap over the years, but I would recommend a revisit, especially if you haven't played it in a long time. 4 stars, up from my previous 3-star rate. And speaking of Prince of Darkness, we go right into this one. Release date, October 29th, 1991. All songs produced by Kane except where noted. After the lukewarm reception to the Taste of Chocolate album, Kane returned the next year with Prince of Darkness, his 4th album, and if his desire for mainstream commercial acceptance wasn't clear before, it was on full display leading up to this release and, of course, on the album itself. With hindsight being 2020, Kane did himself no favors by appearing on the cover of Playgirl magazine in 91. I do wonder how he feels about this today in present day 2024. Needless to say, Hayes would not please with this or the direction of his career at this point, leading to claims of Kane selling out and falling off at the same time, which will follow him for the next few years. The key question here is, how did this album sound now? We'll see if it has aged well or not. We're going to head right into this one, starting with the highlights. So we got the opening title track, Prince of Darkness. Stop, hold up, pause, quit, change the groove, and funk it up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Quite the smooth opener here, featuring Kane doing more than embracing his complexion, but also confirming that the dark-skinned brother was the order of the day as far as the ladies were concerned in 91, 4 out of 5. And next highlight, Get Busy. Kane does get busy, bringing it smoothly over a dope beat with a nice sample courtesy of Curtis Mayfield's Give Me Your Love. I had to take off a few points for the obvious censoring towards the end. Necessitates the 3.5 out of 5 rating. And I think this is probably one of the rare times where I'm putting a 3.5 out of 5 song in the highlights. Okay, it's all good. All right, so then we got the next highlight. Ooh, nah, 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 nah. Yeah. Kane may have come with a slight party vibe here, but he sort of brings back the 88, 89 Kane for this one, complete with very good lyrics throughout and simply owning the beat with his sped up flow. I like this one. 4 out of 5. I like this next one too, featuring Lil Daddy Shane, and I wonder where he at. You know, shout out to Lil Daddy Shane. Wherever you are, Lil Daddy Shane, shout out to you, man. Not sure if he passed away or not. Let me say that too. So we'll just keep it at that. Only do I really like the brotherly love back and forth vibe displayed here via 4 bars apiece, but I also liked how Kane was able to use a Jeep beat. Yeah, I remember how them Jeep beats sounded, along with Barry White's Playing Your Game, Baby, and Gwen McCrae's Rockin' Chair samples. Very good song, 4 out of 5. Next up, we got Groove With It, produced by Michael Stokes. Now, every time I listen to this, I think of the movie Strictly Business, and it was part of that soundtrack as well. Yes, the commercial sound was full effect, but it's still very good to these ears. This was also the second highest charting single of Kane's career after the classic Smooth Operator. 4 out of 5 for this one. And yeah, Groove With It was a good song, y'all. So we will go to the next highlight, Trouble Man, produced by Mr. C, co-produced by Kane and T.R. Love. I know in what was the album's most introspective song, Kane talks about his struggles with fame, women, and friendships. Speaking of the latter, it's sad when someone tries to start a rumor that another person has AIDS. All in all, a good way for the album to bounce back after the previous song. What song was that? See, this was taken directly from my review, so we can just move on from that. But again, a good song, 4 out of 5. Speaking of another good 4 out of 5 song, we get Come On Down featuring Q-Tip and Busta Rhymes in one of his earliest appearances before Leaders of the New School. And definitely Q-Tip at this point, this was 91. So they already had the People's Instinctive album out, and the Low End Theory album came out in 91. So Tribe Called Quest was getting it. That I think it's safe to say that this is the best song on the album by far, featuring one of Busta's earliest verses, stealing the show in the process. Next highlight, Death Sentence. Kane may have catered to the ladies for some of this album, but he could still come with lyrical heat, as evident by this appropriately titled song, clocking in at a brief 2 minutes and 19 seconds, 4 out of 5. Once again, we have low points on a Big Daddy Kane album number 4 at that. So what are the low points? Let's get right into it. I'm Not Ashamed. Well, again, the album's momentum came to a screeching halt here with another one of Kane's hip-hop ballads. This is nowhere near the level of To Be Your Man or The Day You're Mine. It was perhaps worse than All of Me, clocking in at 6 minutes and 26 seconds. This was a little too damn long, adding up to the album's worst song. TLC, another joint for the ladies, not that good, but at this point in the album, we got the point already, definitely. All right, so my final thoughts on this album. The album certainly was heading into 3-star territory, but honestly, my ratings would necessitate a solid 3.5-star rating. While there is filler to be found here, the rest of the album is largely good. No major complaints about it after all these years. As mentioned, Kane was going in a different direction, and this decision didn't go over too well with the rapidly changing hip-hop audience. Plus, the genre itself was going through its own changes as well. Compared to the previous 3 albums, Prince of Darkness tanked on a critical and commercial level, leading to Kane taking a hiatus from the game for almost 2 years. How would he bounce back? This question will be answered as we head to album 4. Hold on, that's a typo. Album 5. Prince of Darkness is album 4. This right here looks like a job 4. This one came out on May 25th, 1993. So we go into the highlights, and again, he starts off the album with the title track produced by Trackmaster. Already we get the album started off proper in a 4 out of 5 way. So in addition to addressing those who thought he fell off, Kane is on a mission to show he had lost one step with this opener, complete with the 93 sound in full force in terms of the production. And yes, Trackmasters, how it used to be spelled, was comprised of Tone and Poke. Y'all know who them guys are. All right. Next up, Trackmaster produced this joint. How You Get a Record Deal. I love this one. Because when I hit the skins, they all say, damn, Kane, you knocked out the bush like a presidential campaign. But if you think that licking toes make me weak, you better treat me like Freddy Krueger. Don't sleep. Rappers get so quiet when I'm coming that if they shared the dictionary, you couldn't get a word from them. Yeah. And to battle me, you shouldn't even try, because with wings on your tongue, you still couldn't say nothing fly. I mean, look at them lines, man. And there's more to it than that. It's more lines in this song. So I know here what an underrated gem this is. In my view, Kane was trying to actively get a deal for someone else. However, if you take his approach found here, dope rhymes over a dope beat, pull no punches, rolling uncut, you too could get a record deal. This worked in 93. Unfortunately, it probably wouldn't do a thing today. 5 out of 5. And let me see. So let me see. Kane was actively trying to get a deal for someone else. Well, I think I got to back up on that a bit. You know, maybe I need to revisit this song. I don't think he was trying to get a deal for someone else. I think he was in his own little way showing you, by the way of his rhymes and all that, how you get a record deal. And then on one end, you know, comparing what you're doing to him, you know, or to what he was doing, you know, what you was doing wasn't working, something to that effect. Or maybe I'm analyzing it a little too much. Next up, we got Chocolate City featuring the Wolf Pack before the NWO. Mr. C, Scoop Lover, Scrap Lover, Lil Daddy Shane, and Marie Williams, produced by DJ Clash and Robert Brown. This fast-paced posse cut was very good as Kane, Scoop, and Scrap dropped dope verses. Plus, it was much better than Down the Line from the Taste of Chocolate album, likely due to Scoop, Scrap, and Lil Daddy sounding a bit more seasoned. Next up, the beef is on. Oh yeah, Kane gets more aggressive than usual throughout this one, even throwing a brief story inside the second verse for good measure. Dope stuff here with well-timed samples courtesy of George Clinton's Atomic Dog and audio samples from Ice Cube and Kool G Rap. 4 out of 5 for that one. Stop Shamming, produced by who? Easy Mo B. Kane clearly has no time for those who fake the funk, calling out people who forget where they come from, those who sell out their own race, specifically blacks, and so-called friends who change up their attitudes when someone they knew become famous, whereas previously they didn't want anything to do with them. Another dope song. Yep. And let me see. What's some of my favorite lines from this one? Yeah, you don't want to be a black man. Hold on, what do you say? Oh, yeah, it's obvious you don't want to be a black man. So what's next? You're going to join the Ku Klux Klan? You sold out to your race, and it's a big disgrace. You can't look your own people in the face. He was going in on this joint. All right, so then we got a joint produced by Easy Mo B. Rest in peace. This is definitely to the competition right here. This aptly titled banger is a word of warning to the competition. This is your fate if you step to Kane. Kane was lyrically feeling it here and all throughout this album. Yes. I also got to go compliment Mo B on the ill use of Harvey Averney's Lullaby from Rosemary's Baby in terms of the sample. 4 out of 5. I take them and shake them and bake them and ache them and break them and wreck them. You can't wake them from the comatose way I make them. Picking up the microphone you shouldn't dare. It's like being on the stairmaster climbing and going nowhere. You perpetrating like you're ready and able, but couldn't rock the show if the stage was a cradle. Them lines, man. Them lines. All right. Okay. Here comes Kane School Scrap. Here comes Kane School Scrap. Here comes Kane School Scrap and Mr. C. Another one produced by Easy Mo B. These three men showcased their skills in a truly dope way, much like Chocolate City. Scoop and Scrap more than held their own alongside Kane. And Kane, he just came through with an ending verse and just, did his thing. 4 out of 5 for this one. The only low point here, give it to me. This was another one for the ladies. And well, let's just say that if the ladies respond accordingly to the song title, this song lets you know what they expect in return. Nothing more to say about it. So my overall thoughts here, this album has aged well overall. Of course, it's not on the level of Long Live the Kane, and it's a Big Daddy thing. However, it's tons better than Prince of Darkness, and it's slightly better than Taste of Chocolate. So in essence, this was Kane's best work since '89. Not only was there a renewed focus on the lyrics, Kane really set out to prove he had not lost a step, but the production also helped tremendously. And when you have the likes of Easy Mo B, Track Masters, and Lost Professor overseeing most of your production, now this is '93, mind you. That's a damn good thing. On the flip side, while very special, which features Spinderella from Salt & Pepper, had a respectable presence on the radio, this album fell under the proverbial radar in '93, possibly even more so than Prince of Darkness. And with hip-hop changing all the time, Kane almost seemed lost in the hip-hop shuffle at this point, and this will be explored a little bit more on the next album, Daddy's Home. A strong 4-star rating for Looks Like a Job 4. Yep. So we go right to the next one. There it is, Daddy's Home. Released on September 13th, 1994. You'll know that this album came out the same day as Ready to Die came out. Think about that, y'all. Biggie was the new guy on the scene. Kane was, a living legend, even at this point, career on the downswing, unfortunately. But the timing could not go against Kane in the worst way possible. But to come out on the same day as Ready to Die, that did him no favors at all. No favors. We start with the highlights here. In the PJs, featuring Big Scoob. I love this song right here. Over a smooth beat, courtesy of Teddy Pendergrass's classic Close the Door, Kane shows love to the projects all over the country. And I deducted 0.5 points for inexplicably ending the song with a card game skit. So yeah, otherwise it would be a 5 out of 5, but it settles in at 4.5 out of 5. Next highlight, Show and Prove, featuring Big Scoob, Sauce Money, Shaheem, Jay-Z, and Old Dirty Bastard, produced by DJ Premier. Rest in peace to ODB. Now, the way I spelled Jay-Z here, that's not a typo. That is exactly how they spelled Jay-Z at the time. I note that this is a rather famous posse cut, complete with an interesting lineup, At this point, Shaheem had dropped his solo debut album, aka The Rugged Child, on the same day as Nas's Illmatic, April 19, 1994. ODB was riding high with the Wu-Tang Clan, and as far as I'm concerned, this song marked the officially recognized debuts of Sauce, better known as Sauce Money, and the man who would later be known as Jay-Z, one of Kane's proteges at the time. Great stuff here, and all involved indeed showed and proved on the mic the album's best song. That's How I Did 'Em, produced by Easy Mo Bee. It's somewhat of a story form. Kane talks about how he lyrically took out his competition in rather convincing fashion. Fast-paced and dope, 4 out of 5. And that's it. That's it for the highlights here, y'all. Keeping on. The low points here, well, let's talk about them. Sex, according to the Prince of Darkness. Well, this was for the ladies, as you would expect. It's not bad, but it's nothing we haven't heard before, especially from Kane. Then we got Let Yourself Go. I get what Kane was going for, but it seemed like he was trying to look too hard on this one, especially doing that second verse. Then we got Don't Do It To Yourself. This was kind of an anticlimactic way to close the album, nothing more or less. So, my final thoughts. All right, so here we go. Well, let's talk about the album first. It's essentially the tale of two. The first half is damn good, but once we hit Sex, according to the Prince of Darkness, the quality dips from there. Lyrically, it's up and down. Production is hit or miss. I'm trying my best not to say Kane was running out of things to talk about, or he was almost desperately trying to fit in with how things were in hip-hop circa 1994, but it was clear that things weren't the same any longer. Like the Prince of Darkness, this album unfortunately tanked on a critical and commercial level, necessitating another hiatus from the game, which will be touched on when we get to Veterans Day. Also, here we go. The fact that the album was released on the same day as Biggie's Ready to Die, with Bad Boy Records beginning a hot streak at this point, the timing was simply not the best, and I don't think anyone was checking for what Kane had to offer. 3 stars overall for Daddy's Home. And now we get to the next album, which to date is the last album that Kane came out with. And I'm going to address that towards the end too. This is Veterans Day, marking his first album in 3.5 years since Daddy's Home at this point, and it came out on April 28th, 1998. So, highlights, Uncut Pure, produced by who else? Easy Mo Bee. So not only does the hook above truly define this highly dope song, but Kane sounds so energized or re-energized and inspired over the equally dope Mo Bee production, 5 out of 5. Then we go to Enterprise. We got to strive to make hip-hop survive. Brothers need to unify to keep the game alive. Fools acting like they don't know the rules need to learn to listen when grown folks is dropping Jews. Amen. I always like this one right here. As a vet at this point, Kane shows love to fellow hip-hop artists present day 1998, encouraging them and others to strive for the best and keep hip-hop going strong. I still trip out at the line rappers like Craig Mack quench my thirst for comedy. 5 out of 5. And rest in peace, Craig Mack. And if I didn't say it already, rest in peace to Biggie. No question. He said, yeah, rappers like Craig Mack quench my thirst for comedy. I like to smoke a red man, but I ain't messing with that bonbon. See? Yep. He said, rappers like Nas, okay, yeah, meth. And peace to Keith Murray. Their brothers hot like curry. Even the NBA make rap dollars. Shaquille, Chris Webber, Cedric Sabalas. No need to educate Chicago. They already got common sense. Yeah, yep. We enterprising. Yeah, love this song. All right, so then we got Change This Game Around featuring Felicia Price. Kane returns to Prince of Darkness mode with the 98 twist. Truly for the ladies right here, but the fellas would dig it too. 4 out of 5 for this one. La La Land, produced by Easy Mo Bee. La 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 Land. No time for timid fear, because there ain't no limits here. Got the world in my hands. You ain't even found the hemisphere. Not to contradict myself, but see, really, I'm untouchable, but making sure you people feel me. No doubt. So, unique song title aside, Kane comes smooth and dope on this one. 4 out of 5. Then we got the next 4 out of 5 highlight here, To the Good Times, featuring Mike Ransom, produced by DJ 3. Over a nice throwback sound, Kane toast those who are responsible for helping to create memories from back in the day. And those familiar with my work know I really like songs like this. 4 out of 5. Then we go to Terror in Your Era, produced by Kane. Lyrically, Kane is so on point here, and I'd be quoting literally the entire song if I added any of the lines. Throughout the song, Kane comes off inspired, confident, and aggressive all at the same time. This is somewhat of an underrated gem here. 5 out of 5. Do you really know? All right. This was also produced by Kane, and I know this joint is one of few songs from Kane that you have to take your time with. Kane talks about a cat. Let me change that instead of CAT. A cat he once knew who totally faked the funk, for the lack of a better term, but not being true to himself, not recognizing and realizes where his actions are taking him. I wonder if hip hop is being used as a metaphor here. Food for thought indeed, and another great song. 5 out of 5. Yep. Then we got another Kane produced highlight, Shame. The nature, or should I say dangers, of the music business are on full display as told in true Kane form. 4 out of 5. Then we got Under Pressure, produced by Kane as well. Although this song ends a bit abruptly, this album did not end on an anticlimactic note, that's for sure. Dope stuff here. 4 out of 5. And yes, our low point, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I note here this was more or less a showcase for the guests, Shaw Queen and AB Money, who were okay to be fair, but outside of Kane's dope closing verse, this song lacked the creativity considering the title of the song. And then next up is definitely, that's right, yeah. Decent song. This sounded like something straight from the Bad Boy Records catalog in 1998, and I didn't mean that as a knock or a diss. So next up, this album was a lot better than what I remember, and it may have been Kane's best since It's a Big Daddy Thing, or it looks like a job for adding up to a 4-star album. Lyrically, he was inspired and focused a bit more, especially after the Daddy's Home album, and the production was good overall. And that's what a good word is in, unfortunately. Looking back at 1998 and how things were still changing in hip hop at this point, I can't recall any promotion for this album, and I don't think it was on anyone's radar. And I'll be honest, it wasn't on my radar in 98. Not even the hardest Kane fans, and it tanked on the commercial level. Although there were established artists still making moves, it seemed like the times had passed Kane by, and he was still out of place in ever-changing genre to date. He hasn't released any additional albums, making this his unofficial last album. Man, so we slowly but surely coming to the end of this session. So I just want to read this right here verbatim. Since 1998, while making guest appearances here and there, receiving continuous accolades for his contributions to hip-hop, touring, and getting better with age, Kane has largely settled into what some may call semi-retirement. Make no mistake about it, while his career may have taken a sharp turn after his second album and never looked back, he'll always be known for his smooth delivery, dope punchlines, and the way he rocked the mic with such style and grace, setting the blueprint for other MCs to follow in his footsteps, with Jay-Z being one of the more notable examples. His discography is largely very good compared to his peers. However, his first 2 albums are often the most talked about to this day. Kane, my hat's off to you, even though I don't wear hats. And I just want to say thank you for all that you have accomplished. Thank you for the classics. Truly one of the all-time greats. And from there, we're going to close this session by looking at my Kane album rankings and ratings. And, his best work is definitely Long Live the Kane, 5 stars, followed by It's a Big Daddy Thing, Looks Like a Job 4, Taste of Chocolate, Veterans Day, Prince of Darkness, and Daddy's Home. Definitely the most underrated of the bunch, I think, goes to Looks Like a Job 4, but then you can also make a case for Taste of Chocolate. If he didn't drop anything after It's a Big Daddy Thing, but then just focused on guest appearances and stuff like that, his legacy still would have been intact, I think. That's just how powerful and magnetic, if you will, those first 2 albums were. What he did on them first 2 albums stands out. So yeah, another top 10 MC session is in the books. Again, major shout out to Big Daddy Kane. I don't think I need to add anything further. The man got the job done. Been putting in work since '88, and based on some recent clips that I've seen, in this case that I got questions session with Ghostface Killer. The man is still getting better with age, y'all. He, granted, he's an OG now. He may not be the Kane from 88 and 89, but that knowledge and wisdom and all of that stuff, You can just see it in him, and you can hear it when he talks. You know, he still got it, man. He still got it. So, with all that being said, y'all, we're gonna go right ahead and close this session. Stay tuned for the next one, and it's no secret. The next top 10 MC session is going to be Red Man. He's my number 8 favorite MC of all time. So definitely stay tuned for that one. So y'all, if you like what you heard and you're ready to become part of Team Discipline, go ahead and hit that like button and drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts about this video, as well as Mr. Kane himself. Is he in your top 10? You know, what are your favorite songs from him? Your favorite album? Most underrated? Most overrated? You know, let me know your thoughts. And last but not least, hit that subscribe button along with the bell so you're notified when I drop new videos. And until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. And until the next session, hang in there. Take it easy.